So by now, you've put lots of thought into building your brand. Maybe this is the first time you're considering creating an online information product. Maybe you already had a Udemy course, a Kindle book, or a podcast before enrolling in this course. Either way, you're in great shape. But how can you leverage cross-pollination to not only accelerate the growth and success of all of your web entities, but also create other equally successful web entities and get into diversification, which we all know is a really important strategy in business? This is where the Branding You ecosystem comes into play. Let's have a look.
All right, so as you can see, the ecosystem is a combination of 5 multimedia pillars: a blog and website, an email list and social media presence, including webinars and YouTube books, including print and audiobooks, online courses, and a podcast.
Now, as the chart demonstrates, every pillar in the ecosystem not only drives diversification, it also drives sales or traffic to other pillars in a two-way relationship. You see, while Amazon, Udemy, iTunes, and other media outlets each have huge audiences, they really have only minimal overlap. The hundreds of millions of people who listen to podcasts may have never even heard of Udemy. The countless people who read Kindle books may be new to podcasts. This means that when you interlink various forms of media, you can do incredible things to keep your audience engaged once they discover and enjoy one piece of content. Some examples include encouraging your podcast listeners to take one of your online courses if they enjoyed the free preview on your show. Or how about using your online course fan base to boost your book's rankings on Amazon by offering the Kindle edition for free? You can also harness the power of your email list to drive your podcast into the top of the charts on iTunes, or maybe even using your website and blog to promote your podcast and your courses and your books freely. Using free content such as the podcast or free chapters of your book can even help collect email addresses. And there's many, many more ways to do this.
And once you're able to get people into your ecosystem, they will move from medium to medium, driving traffic and revenue through all of your various channels. It's an incredible way to maximize reach and exposure, but also a great way, and it can be an amazing way to maximize your potential revenue.
That's a great point, actually, Anthony. The cross-pollination factor isn't the only great thing about the strategy. In fact, the strategy is based largely on an economic theory called willingness to pay, or WTP, and a sophisticated strategy straight out of business school called price discrimination. You might be familiar with price discrimination if you've ever flown on an airline anywhere, ever. They're experts in creating different classes of service that essentially do the same thing. They get you from point A to point B.
Hopefully.
So in order to demonstrate how this works, let me just show you guys a simple supply and demand curve. Hopefully this is something you've seen before, but even if it hasn't, don't worry. The basic principle here is that you have price and quantity. When the price goes up, more suppliers will want to offer that good because it's more profitable, but less people will want to buy it. So that's why you have these two curves, supply and demand. Now for this curve, we're actually not going to need our supply curve. We just need demand. And what this says is that at the $1,200 price point, you can see very, very few people are going to buy it. Whereas if you offer something for free, an unlimited number of people theoretically are going to want it. Now, where most people go wrong here is that they only create one product. So for example, let's say that you're creating a $100 Udemy course, okay? And that course fits in here. And that's really nice because you're now able to capture all of this willingness to pay. You see, what that means is willingness to pay is everything under the demand curve, right? It's all the quantifiable amount that people are willing to pay. That's awesome. But what about this whole area and this whole area? That's uncaptured willingness to pay. It's uncaptured value that people are willing to get from you. So the point behind this strategy and what's so amazing about it is we create more products, okay? We create a $20 audiobook, and that fills this area.
Maybe we create a free version of our course that's not the full version, but it goes for $30 or $40 or $50. We fill that up. Now we're capturing all of that. We do some ebooks, Kindle books here. We're capturing all of this value as well. At the higher end, we offer our $500 mastermind series. Okay, that's our master course with our mastermind service level. And we capture all of this value here. And at the very, very high end, where we have people with huge willingness to pay, we may offer private coaching series. We may offer one-on-one coaching, stuff like that. So we're now capturing all of that value. And of course, you know, there are little areas in between here that we're not capturing. But on the most part, we're capturing a lot of the value, a lot of the willingness to pay. We're not letting any area under that demand curve exist. Now, I know what you're going to ask me, well, what about all this area? Well, that's really cool because those are people who are really only willing to spend less than $4.99. Maybe they're almost willing to spend nothing. Well, this is really cool because we can do free ebooks. We can do free podcasts. And we can actually completely capture those people, even with their low willingness to pay. And as we show you in the strategy throughout the course, we'll show you how you can actually monetize these people, how you can generate revenue or at least traffic or boost your sales of other items using these people and their very, very low willingness to pay. So as you can see in the strategy, there's very little wasted willingness to pay. Very, 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 very little. And that's what it's all about. That's what maximizing your revenue and creating product diversification is all about. And so that's just a little bit of the economic theory. This is the same reason why airlines, as we said, are offering normal flexible, business flexible, first class flexible. There are so many different routes you can go, and there are so many different classes you can get, but ultimately it's the same product. This is the same idea here. There are many different ways to get the same content that you're teaching, but here we have a way to deliver that content for every price point and every customer.
Jonathan, thanks for that whiteboard, really amazing. So in case you're not excited enough already about the ecosystem and what's possible from what you've seen, in the next lecture, we'll show you some very, very detailed examples of exactly what's possible that come from the real world, and you're going to see the results that emerge from these examples so you can get busy implementing